So soles of your feet to touch, knees out wide. You can take one hand to your belly and just notice your belly rising and falling with each breath. And I'm going to read you a quote for today from the Untethered Soul book that I'll be talking about for the next till the end of time. It says, "The one inside who is aware that you are always talking to yourself about yourself is always silent. It is a doorway to the depths of your being." The one inside who is aware that you are always talking to yourself about yourself is always silent. What does that mean? Remember, I told you to notice that voice inside your head. Notice everything that you're saying in your head. You're noticing the voice. So you are aware of that voice. So it's you who is aware and the voice who is talking. The one who is aware of the voice is always silent. So just let that soak in for a little bit. And start to deepen your breath. So inhale into your belly, filling it up with air, and then into your ribs. Let your ribs expand, and then your upper chest. Then exhale, upper chest, ribs, belly. Take 3 more deep breaths like that. Then close your knees like a book. Walk your feet out to the edges of your mat. Let your knees cave into each other. And then windshield wiper your knees side to side. And come back to that butterfly position with your feet and your legs. And notice the lower back. See if you can stick your hand under your back. Then I know I talk about this all the time, but this activates your transverse abdominals. So press that low back into the mat. Remove your hand first. So pressing that low back into the mat and hug your belly button to your spine at the same time. Once you do that, press your palms into the mat and lift your hips up to the sky for a bridge pose and butterfly pose. And then come back down. You don't have to get up so high. Take one big breath, belly, ribs, upper chest. Exhale, upper chest, ribs, belly. Then again, low back into the mat, hug the belly button in, root down through the outsides of your feet, and push your hips up to the sky. And lower down slowly. One big 3-part breath, belly, ribs, upper chest. Exhale, upper chest, ribs, belly. One more of those weird bridge poses. Low back into the mat, hug the belly button in, press down and lift your hips up to the sky. Stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, squeeze the glutes, 2, 1, lower down slowly. Good. Close your knees. Take the feet out wide. Knees cave in and windshield wiper your knees side to side. See if you can notice that voice again throughout our practice today, and notice the silent self that is hearing the voice, the witness to that voice. If you still don't know what your voice is, you can say hello, hello, hello inside your mind. And that is the voice. All right, give your knees a hug. Take your knees wide and your toes touching for reclined child's pose. Keep those knees in tight. And then push the knees away. Inhale. Exhale, bring them in. Inhale, push them away. Exhale, bring them in. One more, push away. Bring them in, exhale. And take your shins parallel to the sky. Again, low back into the mat, hug the belly button in. And we're just going to tap one set of toes down and then bring it back in, keeping that core nice and activated, hugging in tight. Left leg down, and right leg down. Just moving with your breath. See if you can inhale to come up. Exhale to go down. Inhale up. Exhale down. When you connect the breath to these core exercises, man, it really kicks things up. See if you can do 4 more total. And give your knees a hug when you finish. And bring them back up to shins parallel to the sky. This time, we're going to interlace our fingers, take the palms behind your head, and then lift your chest up to the sky. And we're going to bicycle. So straighten the right leg, flex the foot, and then lift your right shoulder up toward that right knee. And then switch to the other side. And come back to the other side. Try to exhale when you bring the elbow and knee to touch. So inhale when you're transitioning. Exhale to crunch. Moving slow. You can do 4 more. And relax, hug your knees. Do 1 more to make sure your core is nice and warm. Plant your feet, hip distance apart. Again, we're gonna lift our sternum up to the sky. Try to keep the back of your neck straight. Flip the palms up to the sky, and we're just gonna karate chop the side of our foot. Okay, so we'll do 10, other side, 9, other side, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And windshield wiper those knees. And hug your knees and start to rock front to back. Then roll up to hands and knees, tabletop. Let's take a few cat-cows. So drop your belly, lift your chin, inhale. Exhale for cat. Rounding your back, tuck that chin to your chest. Moving with the breath. Take your hips side to side, whatever other movement feels good to you right now. Maybe hip circles. Once you feel even front to back and side to side, come back to a neutral spine, flat back. Then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, down dog. You can pedal it out. You can wag your tail side to side. And maybe take your heels over to one side and your hip over to that side for a little pivot side stretch. And switch to the other side. Come back to center once you feel even. Make sure you're lifting those hips up and back and your back is nice and flat. Then bend your knees, look forward, step to the top of your mat into a forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows here or any other variation of this pose that you like. Maybe you need a shoulder opener. You can clasp your hands behind your back, straighten your arms and let them go overhead. Your knees can be bent or straight. And release your bind if you have one. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, rise all the way up. Squeeze your glutes to get there. Palms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, step back into a plank. Let's stay here for just a moment. Feet hip distance. Send the heels back toward the back edge of the mat. Round the upper back slightly. Hug the belly in. Stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop to your knees or stay in a plank and just lower down, sending your elbows back all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes. Take your hands out like you're flying through the air. Squeeze your glutes, lift your chest up, and then float your hands and your feet. From here, we're going to pretend like we're swimming breaststroke with our hands. We're just going to take our hands out to the side and then bring them back under, out to the side, under and forward. We'll do that 7 more times. 6, 5, 4. This is a Pilates move. 3, 2, 1. All right, plant your hands on the mat under your shoulders. Relax your lower back, your lower body. Tuck your toes under. Either press up to your knees or to your toes into a plank. Exhale, down dog. Pedal it out. Take 3 deep breaths. Then lift your right leg to the sky. Open and stack that hip, right hip on top of the left, then bend the knee, taking the heel toward the glute. Try to keep your weight evenly in between both hands. Then re-straighten that leg, square your hips to the mat. Take it knee to nose, send that foot through for low crescent lunge. So drop the left knee down. Inhale your arms up to the sky. And we're pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. If you have any low back issues, I know some people on here do, try to keep your back here straight and not so arched back. Just try to keep it straight and you're just pushing that hip, that left hip forward. On your next exhale, cactus your arms down. Pulling the elbows together on your back and look up. If you need a shoulder opener, clasp those hands behind your back. Pull your knuckles to the earth. Deep breath. Release your bind. Clasp your hands overhead, making that water gun so your index fingers and thumbs are out. And we're just gonna lean over to the left, over to the right. So we're stretching that psoas muscle, still pressing the hips forward and leaning over at the same time. Good, inhale back to center. Release your bind, send your hips back toward your heels for half splits. Pull the right toes up and fold over that right leg. You can point that foot and flex the Then take your hands out toward the top of your mat. Walk the right foot out to the side. Toes out, heel in, and sink your hips back toward your back heel. Push the right knee forward to get that inner thigh stretch on the right. Then come back to tabletop hands. Walk the right foot back to meet the left. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, down dog. 3 breaths here. Notice how you feel on either side and see if you notice that voice. What's it saying? Are you noticing the witness of that voice? When you're ready, lift the left leg to the sky. Open and stack the hip, heel toward the glute. Re-straighten that leg, square the hips, knee to nose, low crescent lunge. Drop the right knee. Lift those arms up to the sky. Right hip pressing forward, left pulling back. On your next exhale, cactus the arm. You can take that bind if you'd like, reversing your grip and pull the knuckles to the earth. Release your bind, And take another bind, those water guns overhead. Lean over to the left. So this should be stretching from the top of your hip, front of the hip crease, all the way up to underneath the rib on the right side. Come back to center. Exhale into half splits. Hips back to your heel, pull up that left toe and fold over. And point the foot, flex the foot. And take your hands out to tabletop hands. Walk that left foot out to the side. Toes out, heel in. Sink your hips back toward the back heel and push that left knee forward. Drop your head and reach your hands forward. And come back to tabletop hands. Walk that left foot back to meet the right. Tuck your toes and come into down dog. Let's just take a quick outer hip stretch. So cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh here. Push the hips back and push that right knee back. So a standing figure 4 in the down dog position. And switch to the other side. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. See if you can press that right heel toward the ground as well. Release that. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, but stay high this time in a runner's lunge. Keeping that back knee up. Stay here, you can rock a little bit, opening those hips some more. And when you're ready, rise up for high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus the arms and look up. Take a bind if you like, pulling those knuckles down. Open the chest. Release the bind, water guns overhead, lean over to the right. Still kicking that left heel back, keeping that back leg straight. Come back to center, open up to warrior 2. So take that, make sure the front foot lines up to the middle of the back foot. Then straighten the front leg, reach forward and down for triangle. If you have a block, you can place it here underneath your hand, or you can just put your hand on your shin. See if you can wrap the top arm behind your back. Open the chest up, pulling that shoulder back. Then bend the right knee, right elbow to the right knee. Keeping that arm behind your back. We're going to take the right fingertips forward and scoop the air, scoop the rain, and send it overhead. Peaceful warrior. The legs stayed the same there. Then come back to warrior 2. Turn the right toes in for a wide-legged fold. Fold forward when you're ready. Take any variation of this fold that you like. Maybe reach for the back of your mat with your hands, or take a twist or side lunges. Hope you guys can hear that thunder. It's so nice. And make sure that your weight is kind of in the middle of your feet in this pose. So you don't want your glutes to be past your heels. You kind of want your hips to be more over your heels so that your weight is in the ball of your foot, toward the middle and the back, kind of evenly distributed. One more breath. Then halfway lift, flatten out your back. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet into goddess squat stance, toes out, heels in, bend your knees and rise up. Eagle arms, right arm on top of the left, hug yourself here, or hug upward and take those eagle arms. Squat low into that goddess squat. Hug that core in. Lift the elbows, tuck the chin. See if you can lift up one heel and put it down, lift the other. Put it down, maybe you can lift both heels and put them down. Round forward if it doesn't bother your back. Inhale, rise up. Warrior two to the top of your mat. Cartwheel down. Send your foot back. Take a flow of vinyasa, lowering down to plank, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. We're almost done with the young portion of our class, so hang in there. Get water if you need it. When you're ready, lift the left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, stay high for that runner's lunge, rock a little bit. And rise up when you're ready. Exhale, cactus. Take that bind behind your back if you'd like, reversing your grip. And release that bind. Water guns overhead, and then send them over to the left. Keeping that back leg as straight as you can. Come back to center. Open up warrior two. Fix that alignment with your feet. And straighten that front leg. Reach forward and down for triangle. Right arm to the sky. See if you can bend that right arm behind your back. Open the shoulder back. And bend that left knee, left elbow to that knee, side angle, or you can be reaching for the ground. And scoop that rein with the left hand and send it on top of you because it's awesome. I want some on me right now. Whew. And come back to warrior two. Turn the left toes in, fold forward, wide-legged fold, whichever variation you like. If you'd like to take a twist, you can take that right hand on the ground, lift the left hand up to the sky, hug the belly in. Make sure your hips are over the heels. You can even wrap that top arm behind your back and open that shoulder again. Come back down, switch to the other side. Right hand to the sky. Hug the belly in. Wrap the arm behind. Come back down. Forward fold. Heel toe those feet in, goddess squat. One more of these, bend your knees, rise up. Take your left arm on top of the right this time, hug, or grab those eagle arms. Squat low. Breathe. Lift one heel, put it down, lift the other, put it down. If I get struck by lightning, I love you guys. And lift both heels if you can. And drop them and round if you round it on the other side. Come back up. Unwind. Walk your feet in to hip distance. Lower your hips down slowly to the mat. Whoop. For boat pose on the side of your mat. So lift the sternum up. Knees can be bent or straight. You can also hold on to those legs or hold on behind you on the floor. Just count here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Whew. Take a deep breath. Give your knees a hug. And then let your knees fall over to the right. Try to pin those shoulders on the ground if you can, and look to the left. Get my timer going so I can make sure that you guys are even. Come back to your breath. Come back to that witness. Noticing the voice. If you're getting any kind of back pain here, you can place that blanket underneath your right knee. If you're not going down as far. Using your breath and your core, use that to pick your knees up back toward the middle. Give them a hug. Let them fall to the other side. Pin the shoulders, look to the right. And back to that slow, deep breath that we started with. Breathing deeply. On your next breath in, bring those knees using your core back up to center. Give them a hug. Rock it out. Massage your lower back by taking your knees in circles. And then the other way, switch the direction. Okay, we're gonna rock up to a seated position. And we're going to take a straddle. So take your feet wide. And here's where you could use a block or your blanket. You can roll that blanket up or a towel, whatever you have. Take your feet nice and wide. Make sure that you're feeling some type of sensation in your inner thighs. If you're not, you need to take your feet wider. And when you're ready, sit up tall, take a deep breath in, and walk your hands forward. If you have any back disc issues, keep that back straight. Maybe you can drop your elbows to your blanket. If it doesn't bother your back, you can round your back forward, maybe rest your forehead on that blanket, or maybe the elbows to the ground and rest your head on the blanket. Take a couple deep breaths to start, and then allow your breath to become soft and gentle. We are targeting the inner thighs and the hip joints. So let's try to focus on relaxing your muscles in and around that area. So relax your belly, your quads, your hamstrings, your thighs. Your kneecaps. Notice your face and jaw, make sure it's nice and relaxed. Inhale, rise up slowly, straightening out your spine. And we're going to keep that blanket out in front. Slowly bring your legs together. Maybe take a little windshield wiper with your knees side to side. And then we're going to come into everybody's favorite frog pose. So you can take your mat and fold it up lengthwise to give you some padding, and keep that blanket out in front. Take the knees wide and the feet are flexed but relaxed out to the side. Okay? And then maybe you just stay here on your hands. This might be enough for you depending on how tight your hips are. Or maybe you can drop down to that blanket on your elbows and relax your head. Maybe give yourself a little temple massage with your thumbs. And you can even, to start, just kind of rock your hips back and forth to help wake up those internal rotation of your hips. And then try to send the hips back toward the heels slightly. Stay here and breathe. Got 5 more breaths. On your next inhale, come up slowly to your hands if you're not already there, and bring in your knees slowly, one at a time, to tabletop. Once you get there, then send your hips out to the side, moving really slow. You don't want to break anything. Just side to side, counteracting that lovely internal hip rotation with an external hip rotation. And after this, when you're home by yourself, after this class, if you could do a supine pigeon or a figure 4 stretch, that's going to help out your hips as well. But for now, we're going to roll on back for Shavasana, final resting pose, because you deserve it, especially after that one. Lean back. If you want to add that extra chest opener, you can take your blanket underneath your chest and lay back. I'm going to close the garage. Lie back on that blanket. Take 3 deep breaths. If you are on the blanket, you can clasp opposite elbows overhead and just allow your breath to become slow. Allow your body to melt down and let go. The rain is washing everything away. If you did place that blanket or towel under your chest, you can go ahead and remove that and lie all the way flat. You can place it on your belly if you like, or under your knees. Take up as much space as you need for the last few minutes. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Start to rock your head side to side on the mat, massaging your back of your head. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And then roll over to your left side of your body. Inhale the biggest breath of the day. Open your mouth, let it go. Take a moment to reflect on your practice. What did you enjoy about your practice and what was challenging? Were you able to notice the voice and the witness of that voice? And then press yourself up to a seated position. Sit up tall, bring your hands together at heart center, and bow your chin to your chest. Take another deep breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. One more like that, and stick your tongue out this time. Good. Thank you guys for joining me tonight and carving out the time for yourself. You deserve it. I hope you feel as good as I do right now. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. The light in me honors the light in you. Have a beautiful night. Namaste.